You know, it's been a while since I've done anything on TikTok. I actually opened my TikTok recently, and I found that my FYP, thanks to my search categories, has actually mutated into something relatively decent, reflecting the goth subculture on the internet. So we're gonna look at that today, see if my TikTok FYP, well not my TikTok FYP, I guess maybe it is. I created it ages ago and I just sort of kept it just in case there's something on there with seeing like a reaction video or something.
Why are you dressed like that? If I don't look like a witch, a vampire, or an evil schoolmarm, I'm not doing enough, and neither are you. So
I get that, man. I mean, everyone likes dressing up like a vampire because vampires are very sexy. And I've said this before as well in my previous video, but like dressing up is just so much fun. It's so much fun, and human beings have been doing it for thousands, millennia. This has nothing to do about men and women and feminine and masculine. Everybody's been dressing up. I mean, look at the Victorians, for fuck's sake. Like, do you see the way the men used to dress back then? Their powdered wigs and their cravats and their frilly shirts and their petticoats and their tights and lapelled jackets, their trench coats, Dickensian and Edwardian, whatever. But like even before that with like, you know, the Romans and the way they looked, and then the Egyptians and the way they dressed, and then you had like the Chinese dynasties and the way they looked, their extravagant costumes, the ornate armor, the masks, the makeup they used to wear, even the flamboyant architecture and interior design that has been prevalent through all of history. Human beings, while we are an advanced species of something, we still very much abide by the same rules that governs the animal kingdom, which is, look at my plumage! Do you wish to mate? What do you think? You seen that bird that does this? No, you can say what you want about the Garden of Eden, the origin of human shame of being naked. But I honestly think that human beings lost all of our fur and just went, this is fine. I'm a prehistorical human being. We haven't done anything yet. We don't have a global health crisis of obesity. I'm looking pretty ripped. I'm looking pretty good. Though I am naked. What if I ripped this off this sheep? Draped it on myself. Have a look in the puddle here. Ooh, yeah. That looks real good. What if I take some of this blood, actually, and just like... Oh, even better. I think it is like an innate human instinct to want to dress up, considering how unbelievably consistent it's been throughout history. I mean, just look at fancy dress, for fuck's sake. There's like so many historical cultures to dress up as because of how many amazing identifiable cultures and costumes have been created over the years, over the centuries, over the millennia. I found an idiot! Found one!
I love her lack of energy! Go girl, give us nothing!
You're also giving us nothing. In fact, you're giving us more nothing. Since none of these things here are even defined. It's always like this. They always... Shut up! There's always this assumption that whenever they say politics, they mean their politics. Conservatism is also politics, but if you went in and you were alternative and you started talking about conservatism, they'd be like, no, not like that. And you're like, well, you said politics. What? What? What's wrong? You said politics. I'm talking politics. My dad lost his job because they found out that he was conservative. He's being oppressed. As a conservative, I feel I should rebel against this kind of tyranny. It's like, yeah, but no, I meant like our politics, like leftist. I meant leftist. And it's the same with the music. Like, what the f do you mean by what music? You can't just say the music and not specify what it is. But like I've already said, people are political. They're all gonna have their own politics, so there's your politics. They just might not be yours. So be prepared for that, little girl. And in terms of the music, everybody listens to some kind of alternative music. What if it's just what? It's not your music that you've specified as the music? If it's not that music, you just... F me, dude. Would you be shocked if I told you that perhaps there are more than just your politics and a specific criteria of music that allows people entry into being alternative? Would that shock you so deeply? Is this all you care about within the subculture? Is all you talk about is the predefined music that you've been told to like and your politics? Is that it? Is that all you find in the alternative subcultures? Because there's more.
I do not know what it is about this app that gives these people the confidence to spew such hateful poison and still think that they are somehow the goth subculture's greatest defender. All I do is create these silly little fun videos relating to my vampiric life for humans to enjoy. These real authentic goths think they are doing divine work for the subculture when really all they are doing is alienating and hating on people that they do not think fit into their little elitist club. Wasn't that exactly what people did to the original Death Rockers? Somebody remind me how they responded to that. Oh, right. They created the goth subculture for all of the people who were bullied and alienated because they enjoyed the themes of gothic music, politics, fashion, and literature, and did not fit into the mainstream.
Added politics in there. This addition, she was on a roll there, and then she added politics. This addition of politics. When did this arise? I've been reacting to this stuff for a very, very long time, and I've been a part of it for even longer. The politics was never, ever, ever a relevant talking point.
A real goth wouldn't hate on anybody trying to explore their own identity within the goth movement, even if they dress in a stereotypical TikTok goth way or only listen to The Cure. They would be excited to share their knowledge and accept that we all have differences within the subculture, because that's literally what it's.
Yes, we do have differences within the subculture, even politically.
So let's spread some positive energy. If you can, please share your favorite goth songs and bands down below, and perhaps others will too, and we will all learn something new.
This politics being inserted into goth, I don't know where it's come from. I know where it's come from. Just I don't know when it arose. Maybe 2019, 2020, when this hyper woke bullshit started, which we're slowly healing from, by the way. That's nice. Again, I do really think it was just a new way to control people. It was like an addition that had a right answer and a wrong answer. In terms of the music as well, man, it's a tough one because people recognize, or people understand, or people refer to goth music being the stuff that was being created in the 80s and the late 70s, even actually as far back as the late 60s, actually. And all that was just a group of individuals inspired by the biggest subculture movement at the time, punk, or at least the most influential one at the time, and trying to put their own different spin on it, right? They're trying to change it, make it something else. That's when you got like post-punk, which then became gothic rock, and that's when the goth subculture started. So there was this explosion of experimentation with different styles, different instruments, different songwriting techniques, especially different production techniques. Some of the things that they did in the studio were revolutionary and incredibly stupid, like recording an amp underwater. That's a real thing. That is a real thing that one of these producers tried to do. Pretty sure it did not work. And then once the subculture was created around it, it just kind of, oh, this is it. We got it. It's right. Don't change it. Don't change it. So I'm kind of confused. What if someone tries to take something like goth rock or dark wave or even any kind of music really that they're inspired by and use the exact same initial inspirations for gothic rock that Robert Smith was using, that Susie and the Banshees was using, that Andrew Eldritch was using, that Peter Murphy was using, and various other really big stars in the gothic subculture, like Nick Cave, for example. What if you created something you wanted to sound entirely unique? I don't want it to sound like gothic rock. I don't want it to sound like this. I don't want it to sound like that. I want it to sound different. I want it to sound the way that I think is different and unique and original and not like anything else. But I am inspired by vampires and monsters and gothic castles and gothic architecture and gothic literature, especially gothic novelists and the occult and things like human emotion and various other things like art and stuff like that. What if the inspirations were the same, but the music was different? Does that music then also expand on the music, on the goth music? Since the inspirations are the same, the intentions are the same, the values expressed within the music are the same, it just sounds different, sounds unique. Wouldn't it? Would it? It's hard to say where goth music possibly could have gone. Maybe this is the reason why a majority of goth bands were dead by the end of the 80s, and especially post-punk, because the subculture was created around it and it killed it. The subculture didn't want it to change. It was like, no, that's great, perfect, don't move. Oh, you ruined it. It's over. Now for the rest of time, goth music will always be this finite selection of music. See, metal didn't do this. Metal did not allow that to happen. It was always changing, always evolving. That's why you have so many incredibly prolific metal bands as opposed to goth rock or just general gothic bands like Darkwave and various other bands like that. It's the reason why they are not prolific. It's the reason why they didn't do so well. They were not allowed to propagate. They were not allowed to progress like the metal scene. I'm using metal as an example here because, quite frankly, there is a very, very close relationship. There's a very shared fan base between the two things. So yeah, I'm curious. I really am curious to explore this concept of goth music. Exactly how far could that go? Does that go? Does it stop working? Because as far as I'm concerned, if it inspires the exact same movement to continue or happen again organically, doesn't that then make it gothic music? Doesn't that then make it goth music? It's like, yes, it sounds different because it's meant to be different. That's the entire nature of goth styles of music. It's meant to sound different. It's meant to sound unique. It's not meant to sound like everything else. But the themes are still the same. The themes are still there. The inspirations that it instills in people are the same. People respond the same to it as they did to Bauhaus in 1981 or to The Cure in 1983 or Susie and the Banshees with their Juju album, which I think was 1981. I know Bauhaus and The Cure did not start in those years. I'm just saying that's when they sort of became very influential. This is why I've never really believed this idea of the music, because by this point I don't think the music is that easily identifiable. The emotions that it evokes in people and the fans of these types of music are easily identifiable. They're undeniably following in the exact same footsteps as goths from the late 70s, early 80s did. It's just now it sounds different, as you would expect from a genre of music, from a subculture. It's not a genre of music, it's a subculture with music genres in it that unifies the movement. It's so convenient for us, actually, that we have this very stark reference for what a subculture, what a subgenre of music is capable of doing with metal. Metal is what I'm saying here. This is what subcultures and subgenres of music typically do. They propagate, they change, they split off into different factions, they get heavier, they get darker, they get faster, they get slower, they add instruments, they take instruments away, they sing, they scream, they don't say anything at all. There's fast double kick, there's only one kick pedal. Oh, there's 3 guitarists. Oh no, there's just the one guitarist. Oh, there's no guitarist, it's just a bassist and a drummer. There are so many different things, so many wide varieties of sounds within metal that all still comprise the same fan base. They're still metalheads of different calibers. Why goth was expected to be very, very narrow, very specific, chronologically speaking, as well as genre speaking. It's really bizarre. It's kind of like the people who gave a shit about it originally just kind of grew up and stopped caring, which I guess would happen once you grow up and you have a family and you move on, whatever. But also whenever the bands that were responsible for the subculture in the first place all degraded and disintegrated and split off or died, since recreational use was quite widespread. So yeah, the music has always baffled me, and I've always really struggled to find a definite definition of what the music even is, since all the people tend to do is just start naming bands. And an arbitrary list of musical subgenres that seems to change from person to person. Oh yeah, industrial's in there. No, industrial's not in there. Oh no, industrial's in there. No, industrial's not in there. Gothic metal's definitely... No, it's not gothic metal. No, that's not in there. Yeah, gothic metal's in there, I would say. No, it's not. It's not in there. Marilyn Manson, yeah. Shock rock? Yeah, that's in goth. Shock rock? No, it's not. It's not in there. I don't know what their fans are called, but... Actually, I don't know what their fans are called. And then they begin to think, what are shock rock fans called? Shock rockers? Wouldn't that just refer to the musicians? Well, until you figure out what a shock rock fan is called, I'm just gonna call them goths. Let's keep it simple. It's like, well, okay, well, what's it doing now? It's like, oh, there's lots of modern goth bands going now, Jake. They're still going. Yes, and they sound exactly like the 80s bands. They're just imitating. They're imitating what the goths were doing in the 80s. They're not making their own sound at the risk of not hitting their target demographic of elitist goths. They're just imitating what they know you want to hear. They're not actually creating anything original. They're just imitating. They're imitating. Not really something the OG goths were doing with their music back in the day. The Cure were unique to a fault, to the point where they didn't even want to partake in certain events Even though it was great for their careers, they didn't want to just be part of the crowd or popular. They just wanted to be different and weird and unique. I think I would like to go into the music in a way that no one else has done before. I would need to do some research into that. I'd need to expand on some of the concepts that I touched on today. Until then, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Catch you next time. Bye, everybody.